I felt when I was sitting up there, I was looking out over probably in that space hundreds of thousands of people, maybe 1 million that I could see. And everyone had walked there in peace. And I just sat there and I just felt sad that there had been so much negativity surrounding this community I was looking at, but also that view and all these people and that experience could be the antidote to so much negativity in the news.
How did you become familiar with Imam Hussein, and how was your experience in Iraq, especially about Arbain?
So in 2017 I was approached by an Iranian Arts Institute, which is based in Tehran. It was 10 days before Arbain, and when I received the email inviting me to present the documentary, it was the first I'd heard of it. For me it was like starting again, and it was a real learning curve. I then came back to the UK and had this body of work which I then submitted to award bodies and publications, and we had I think 17 international exhibitions in 2018, and started to really start speaking about it on social media. And at that point I didn't fully understand the significance of me capturing it. I just thought that, well, I've now come to realise how important it is that I documented it.
Okay, so it's about coming up near 12, which is the start officially of Arbain in Karbala. And I'm here surrounded by all of the mokebs. It is so packed.
There are very few places in the world where you can just go with no plan and it be efficient enough. The travel arrangements kind of fell through, and everyone's moving in the same direction, so you can't get lost. Even though Farzan managed to get lost, and more about a uniting, peaceful walk. I want it to be an approachable topic for international media. These sorts of stories where I feel they're being misreported or not reported at all. So my intention was to go out there and document it in a very, very humanistic way, very intimate way, and to try and humanize a story that I felt had been looked at en masse in the millions. I think it was incredibly important for me as a young woman to know that I had the support of my Iranian and Iraqi colleagues. I'm 25 years old, and to have my work valued, my freedom valued, the trust they had in me, in my ability to tell the story. As a photojournalist, that was a really extraordinary moment in my career, and they have all since become like family and really support and guide me in the work I do.
Arbain isn't just 40 days in Iraq, it is all year. The organisations, the charities, the pilgrims, the communities, and I want to show every reach.
Would you suggest any of your friends or any of your colleagues in your country to make this journey, go to Middle East and pay a visit to maybe Iran or Iraq?
Well, I'm very thankful that lots of my friends do, and we all speak to each other about it, and I'm not alone in how I feel about these issues. So there's no convincing people. There are many amazing journalists who are working in these regions doing extraordinary work, and I hope that their work will be equally as highlighted in the media too. I believe in the work that I have done, and I will be continuing this work for a number of years. When we're kind of looking at the media representation of certain issues in the Middle East, I have found that unlike in the West, there are issues in every country, but I found that Middle Eastern countries have been hit with majority negative news. But I think it's very important that young journalists such as myself start to lead the way and to showing the other side of certain countries and trying to correct the misrepresentation that exists in the media at the moment. I feel very frightened by some of the news that I read, and it concerns me that when people share negative news stories, that no one doubts it, but that when you share a positive news story, people start to question your intentions, that the very nature of positive news is deemed on the boundaries of propaganda, whilst negative news stories have no connotation with that for some reason. I think this is the kind of change in journalism. I think perhaps the value in social media is only just coming into play. But I intend to use my platform to kind of share these stories on my terms, and it's not sort of dictated by anyone else. It can be frightening at times, and I try to navigate it as best I can. But I think that we will see more journalists like myself kind of redirecting the way that they tell stories. So for me, it was like starting again. Everyone's moving in the same direction, so you can't get lost. Even though Farzan managed to get lost, I believe in the work that I have done, and I will be continuing this work for a number of years.